Here is a very curious thing. In most countries in the world, the largest cities are often the most violent. This is true for London in the UK, Paris in France, Toronto in Canada, and so on, but not for Mexico. In fact, the two largest Mexican cities, Guadalajara and Mexico City, are by far safer than the national average. But why? Today we discovered a reason, and that may be an alert to your country too. Stay tuned for the mystery behind the relatively safe Mexican metropolis. Since I respect the time of my audience, I will solve at once the mystery of why Mexico City is safe. Because it's a capital and a tourism business hub, the government put enormous effort to not let gang wars close to the city. It's more or less the same reason that Cancun is safe. Nobody wants to mess with tourism, a huge source of revenue for Mexico. However, this leaves us with the mystery behind Guadalajara. Why the crime rates there are almost half of the Mexican national average? It's not the capital, it's not a tourist destination, so why it's not as violent as other large Mexican cities like Ciudad Juárez? Guadalajara is the capital of the western Mexican state of Jalisco. With a population of 1.5 million people, it's one of the country's largest cities. It also gave birth to two of Mexico's most well-known traditions, the mariachi and the tequila. But let's get back to the subject. See this map. The brighter the color, the more violent is the region. Guadalajara is inside the red circle. As you can see, it's way safer than most other large Mexican cities, except for Mexico City. The explanation of why Guadalajara is safe compared to the rest of Mexico starts with a disclaimer. We are talking about one of the most violent countries in the world. With 29 murders per 100,000 inhabitants per year, Mexico is more violent than Brazil or Colombia. Most of the violence in Mexico is caused by cartels involving drug and human trafficking to the USA. Yes, you heard it right, human trafficking. Nowadays, human trafficking is a very important activity for the cartels. Since they know how to cross drugs from one side of the border to the other, they thought, why not cross humans too? It's profitable. Let's talk about some of these cartels, and you will understand why Guadalajara is safer than the rest of Mexico. The Sinaloa cartel, for instance, is primarily active in the northwestern region of Mexico, despite having the same name of the state where Guadalajara is located. Similarly, the Gulf cartel operates mainly in the northeastern regions such as Tamaulipas, which is also very distant from the central region where Guadalajara is located. Likewise, the Tijuana cartel, named after its base in Tijuana, Baja California, operates hundreds of kilometers to the northwest of Guadalajara. Tijuana, being a border city, is a focus of smuggling activities typically concentrated near the Mexico-USA border. Lastly, there is the Juárez cartel, one of the first major criminal organizations in Mexico. It's primarily based in the city of Ciudad Juárez, in the state of Chihuahua, also near the Mexico-USA border. And I bet you guessed it, far from Guadalajara. So by now, you know that the main reason Guadalajara is safer than the Mexican average is just due to the fact that it's far away from the cartels and far away from the US-Mexican border. Yay! And talking about crime, check on this video here at your left on how the once most dangerous country in the world completely solved the problem of violence. It was a polemic measure, but it worked.